we obviously have got our virtual meeting guidelines and our protocols for the meetings. So everybody's had a copy of that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So everybody's aware of how we're running the meeting. Lovely. The first item, number 4 item on the agenda, is to receive the minutes of the last finance meeting. Has anybody got any issues with it? No. Okay, David, is that for you to
propose that we approve and adopt the minutes, please?
Okay, and then Councillor Cornford, you're seconding that, are you?
I am.
Okay, all in favour? Let me find my little thingies. Oops, I've lost my little buttons, so I'll put my hand up for me.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's lovely. And I'll sign those off, Jill, in the office for you, so that you've got the signed copy. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, that's lovely. Is there anybody that of the public wants to do a participation today?
No.
Nobody's signed in. Okay. All right then. So we just whiz on to the finance reports, and what we have here is you should all have a bank statement. You should all have the petty cash, the current account, and the deposit account. Have you all got one of those? Yeah.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, so that's just telling you that as of the 31st of the 3rd, this is what was in each of the accounts at the time. Okay. And just to verify that, obviously I did my audit and I agreed that they were what was in the account at the time, and Jill has the signed copies with her. We've got a list of the payments and receipts that have happened between the last time that we had one, so they're payments for March, and any receipts for February and March, which we didn't have prior to this meeting. Okay, so everybody should have a list of those. I've received nobody asking for any information on any of them, so I'm assuming everybody's happy with that.
Yes, thank you.
Right, so are we happy to receive those particular reports? And then I'll go on to the year-end reports. Yep, so can I just have a show of hands for the 2 A and B reports, please? You happy to receive them? Yeah.
Councillor Willing? Oh. Can you hear us, Councillor Willing?
You're happy to receive A and B reports?
Yes, yes, I said that.
Oh, sorry, I do beg your pardon.
Right.
The next report we've got here is the year-end accounts report. So basically, you should have the summary of payments received for the year-end of 31st of March. This is what's been published, and you will find that what I've done here is that we have got the 2 reports here. We've got the annual budget report, which is a combined total report, and this one, and I've just numbered each one so that you can actually match each report to get a more detailed report. But the first one, the summary of receipts and payment, is the format in which the audit and the councils have to produce the reports. Okay, so you can see it's got all the receipts, it's got the bank balances, the reserves on it, it's got last year, and it's got current year to date, so you've got the 2. And then on your budget report, we've got last year, and then we've got the start of what will be coming through. So we will have this report as we run forward, so that you can see what we have last year now, and then match against this year as we'll be spending as we go forward. Okay, if anybody wants me to go through these reports separately, you know, and review them separately, as we can't, you know, as we're only doing it visually at the moment, then obviously I'm more than happy to do that, and we'll make some arrangements to do that with people. Okay, but other than that, is everybody happy with the reports and understood them? Yeah. Can we receive them? Thank you, David. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. All received. Thank you. Right, and then we've got the annual internal audit report, which Jill will be doing for us, as she's had all the dealings with the auditor.
Thank you, Councillor O'Connor. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to look through the report yourself. As you see, they break it down into the different areas, and it's a traffic light system this time. So we have red, yellow and green, and I'm pleased to report that the majority of them are green, which is fantastic news. And we actually were congratulated that some of this was best practice, and we've done very well. So I'm really, really pleased with the outcome. We have 2 yellows, which actually relates to the website. So the first one was proof of the public rights provision, which was last year. Because the website doesn't actually do a date stamp, and when I actually create the page and actually post to it, I couldn't provide the evidence to the auditor. This is quite a regular occurrence. We're not different from everybody else. There's quite a lot of councillors in the same position. So all I need to do this year is actually screenshot the desktop, or actually Hugo Fox might be able to resolve the issue for us by the time it comes to me doing it this year. But that's nothing to worry about. It's actually quite normal, and they said that a lot of councils have found themselves in a similar position, so we can rectify that this year. The other section is the additional tests, and again this is the accessibility compliance that comes in September this year. I have been in constant contact with Hugo Fox to make sure that they will be compliant by September, and they assure me that they are. But obviously I will be keeping a close eye on that position. They said there's a slight delay because of the current situation with the virus, but I will be asking for an update on a weekly basis, so we can make sure that we keep an eye on that one.
Well done. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think that's absolutely brilliant. I don't know about anybody else. I think all of those greens, I think we should pat ourselves on the back for that, and hopefully that we continue. I mean, obviously the new finance system has really made things a lot easier, very easy to check. If anybody wants any reports, they're easy enough to pull off, and they can show in full detail of what's happened. So we're very open and transparent through the system. The regular audit checks that I do for going into the office, making sure the invoices are all genuine and the cash meets what it says in the bank and everything, I think really has proved worth it. So yes, I'm very pleased. Are we happy to receive those reports? Yep. Oh, hi, Matt.
Yep.
We're on item D. We're just receiving the audit report, Matt, when you get going. We just wait a few minutes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Matt.
Hello. Alan,
Hello.
it's a video, so if you can bear with me with audio.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I can actually see you, but I can't. Just as a picture. But just to say that we've just done the finance reports. We've just done item D, which is the internal audit report, which Jill has just read out. And so we're actually on number 7 now, which is the small grants policy. All right, just so you can catch up. Okay, unless you've got any things that you wanted to bring to the table prior to us moving on.
No, it's all good on my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So we have got the small grants, the schemes. We've got two grants. We've got a Chartfield School one. So Jill, do you want to talk us through these ones?
Yes. Can we just go to the policy first, please? Sorry.
Yes,
just
of course,
just
sorry.
to talk about the criteria.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously the grant policy was adopted in 2018. And so I just wanted to make sure that members were still happy with the criteria that we have in the guidance document. So we had 4 priorities. This was to support projects, community groups that enable and empower local groups to organise effective projects. I'm just going to, sorry, Councillor Dawson, I'm just going to mute you a moment. Right. Is that better? I think less of an echo. Okay. So this was enable and empower local groups to organise effective projects that widen community participation develop a sense of local pride and inspire communities to come together, assist Westgate roles as a heritage centre, establish Westgate as a visitor destination, creating an economic impact of people visiting from outside the area, putting Westgate on the map, and support benefits to young people in the town. So it was just really to check with members that you're still happy for that criteria as was agreed in 2018. Okay.
Yes, I'm happy with that. That's the criteria.
Yeah. Councillor Cornford, yes. Councillor Willie?
Are you happy with that?
I would like to just ask a question, please.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? It's
Yes,
just that under the eligibility, the second one says will not be considered from individuals. So does that, but for every other reason, an individual running a one-man thing that could be viable for a grant wouldn't be able to get it. That seems a bit weird. It's got to be a partnership that's running the organisation rather than a single person.
Yeah, because basically it's meant for community groups.
If you can get my drift on that.
I think so, yes.
What if the community group is a new small group with only one person running it? Connection has just gone. I don't know if you heard what I was saying then. I said, what if it's a very small, newly founded group that's only got one person running it, who created it? They would surely be entitled to as much as if it was a partnership. It's only a minor thing. It's just, it might exclude one or two very small local entities that would otherwise be viable.
Okay, I think Councillor O'Connor wants to pass a comment on this.
Actually, you're mute.
You're muted. Pauline, you're muted.
Sorry, yep. Obviously, you know, most groups, you know, like the Scouts have somebody and a lead and something. If it's a new group that started up, there is still going to be a group that they may just be the one lead going for the group, but generally it's some sort of community group that they're going for, isn't it? You know, it's
Yeah,
not just
granted normally it would be a group, but sometimes it might be. But no, we'll go with it as it is.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any comments?
No, I don't think so at the moment. So
No.
I'm happy to continue where it is at the moment. So you know, I will do that. I mean, you know, I can see what David is trying to say, but it's still going to be somebody applying on behalf of a group. You know, even if it's just a new group that's just been started, it will be.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy for that. Anybody want to second that?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favour?
Thank you. Is that okay, Councillor Scott?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so shall I continue with the grant applications?
Yes, please.
So, we have two this evening. Sorry, Councillor Johnson, I'm just going to put you on mute for a minute. So, the first one is from the Chartfield School. They've been helping with the recycling initiative, and what they're finding is that the recycling is quite difficult for them to sort. So they're asking for a grant for £60 so they can buy some of the plastic containers that we actually have in the front of the office here for the recycling scheme. They are a huge supporter of the scheme, so I think it's going to be, you know, very beneficial for them, and obviously with the children there appreciating the environment and everything like that, it's quite educational as well for them.
Joanna? Sorry, Councillor Cornford.
Thank you. Eligibility, clause 1, it's applications must be submitted from recognised not-for-profit community groups. I don't think Chartfield School qualifies, does it? As a private educational establishment.
I mean, personally, I think that a school, I wouldn't say that they're for profit. I would say that they are there to educate the children, but of course it's your call.
I think because, you know, if it was St Saviour's or St Crispin's, but Chartfield is a private school. And we could come in for some criticism on the eligibility score.
Okay. Yeah.
David, Councillor Wallins, what's your, Councillor Wallins, Councillor Wallins? Councillor Wallins, would you like to speak?
Been thinking the same concept. I'm not saying they.
I'm very
Oh,
sorry.
hang on, I'm on mute.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up, Councillor Wallins. Yeah. Sorry, you're breaking up.
I am speaking. I am speaking. Can
Do
you hear me?
apologise, and we can't hear you. We couldn't hear you. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I basically was just saying that.
I'm ever so sorry, Councillor Wallins. Your connection seems to be poor tonight. I can't
A
hear
private
you.
school
Try
doesn't
again.
necessarily run for profit.
Okay. Right. Is there any other comments? Matthew,
I haven't finished my
Scott?
comment yet.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, Councillor Wallins, we can't hear you.
I'll do it on text then. I'll
Thank
type
you.
it.
Lovely, thank you. While Councillor Wallins is typing that, does anybody else have any other comments to come through verbally?
No comments from myself.
Oh, something else to say.
That's all right. Yeah, we're waiting on yours. Yeah. Councillor Cornford, while David is typing.
Maybe we could support them in some sort of recycling initiative competition that could support them financially through a creative poster, perhaps, with, for instance, what is turned into what, like tins are made into bicycles, all sorts of things. I'm saying, could we support them in a project, make them some money to get their recycling bins as an alternative?
You mean as a donation rather than a grant?
Yes. And that's a poster that can be used within the community to promote recycling, because I don't know how many people really know what amazing things can be made out of recycled products, recycled waste, basically.
Sorry, Dave, have you posted your comments?
I posted some.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Can anybody else see David's comments coming through?
Yes, under chat.
Oh.
trying to.
Okay.
Got them?
I can't. Hang on. That's it. Right. Let's start. Okay. Okay. The answer to flipping questions. I found them now. It's all right. Then.
What does that mean?
Under chat, yeah.
The answer to question D22.
D22.
Okie dokie. So, may I ask by a show of hands if everybody feels the same that whether this grant comes under our scheme or not, for that? And so, first of all, can we have a show of hands if we think it does come under the scheme? And a show of hands if we think it doesn't come under the scheme for the next one, please. Okay, one. And David, you've not said anything, and Matt, I can't see for you as well. I can see, yeah, Joanne is against and David is for.
Yeah, I think that it may be just technically not come under our scheme, but where it's for a good cause, which is recycling,
Yeah.
maybe we could, and it's only for 60 quid. You know, maybe we could kind of overlook that.
I have to admit, I'm in a kind of agreement with you.
I mean,
because of the
because technically, I mean, as Joanna said, you know, we would if we start breaking the rules, but we're not really blatantly breaking the rules. We're just, you know, stretching them a little bit, kind of thing. And I think where it's recycling, and one of the great objectives of the council is its green credentials, then maybe we could make an exception in this. And it's only £60 anyway.
Yes, I'll come to you in a moment, David. I happen to be, because of what it is, the recycling. However, I think it's quite a good idea what Joanne was saying about what it was. And maybe we could say, if we give them the money, that they could do some research and get a poster set up explaining what tin comes in or something as the kind of incentive for us giving them the money so that they're doing the poster. Councillor Wallins.
Yeah, let's hope my connection stays. I was trying to say that I don't think public and private schools are deemed as profitable. They've got certain exemptions. I don't think they're registered for VAT, for example, because they're not deemed to be profitable as a direct profit. They might make a surplus of funds, but it's not deemed to be a profit, I believe. I could be wrong.
No, I think you are right on that particular occasion. I'm not 100% sure myself, but I do agree. But I do think Councillor Cornford has come up with a really good thing.
The criteria.
Nice, yeah, to see a nice poster.
The criteria, because
yeah. So can we have a consent? Sorry, Councillor Cornford.
Can I just say, could we ask them to produce the poster first? Only, you know, the grant money comes from the town tax, doesn't it?
We could do. I think that's quite a good idea, just to say that, you know, to help promote it, that we would like. But are they back at school at the moment? That's the thing. So I presume. No.
So they've got plenty of time to. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
They've good time to put it out to the pupils to say, put your ideas out. You know, research it and put some ideas on paper.
Yes, I think maybe that's a very good compromise. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So could I ask the town clerk to just say to them that in principle we're happy, but we would like to see some sort of poster explaining, at least picking one of the objects to say what can be made with tin or something like that, just so that we can put it through. Councillor Cornford?
Sorry to bang on about this. When you say in principle, can we make it clear that it doesn't meet the criteria, but we're happy to do this as a supportive exercise?
Yes.
Okay.
And what we need to do, if you wouldn't mind, Jill, is just check the status of the private schools and see if they come under that as well, so that we can, so that for next time we know whether they do meet the criteria or not. Okay, so it would be handy for us to have that clarification.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Is that all right with everybody?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, that
Thank you.
agreed. So that's lovely. I think that's been passed then, Jill. If you wouldn't
Thank
mind doing that little bit of extra work for us. Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, second grant application is from Christchurch United Reformed Church. This one is quite detailed about the tower repairs and everything that they are trying to raise funds for. As you can see, they've provided all the architect's drawings. It goes into quite a lot of detail. They do need to raise quite a lot of funds. They have been advised that it's normally a maximum of £500 unless there are exceptional circumstances. And as you can see, they're asking for between £2,000 and £10,000. They need £56,000 in total for the project. So I don't know if you had time to read through all the information, but I think what they're trying to say is that at the moment, with the current situation, all the fundraising activities are on hold for them, so they are struggling to raise the funds. Thank
Can we
you.
have some comments from people? Councillor Cornford, could we have your comments on this? You're on mute, I think. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm not sure again that they really comply with the terms and conditions within the grant agreement, and we have previously given them £1,500 within the last 5 years. 4 years ago, 2016, we gave them £1,500 for the clock. It's a tricky one, but I do feel this is about the community groups and you know, the promotion, the economic impact and sustainability and the community involvement. I'm not sure that this particular grant application fits with those criteria, but that's, I mean, that's up for, I mean, we've all read it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other councillors feel.
Yeah. Councillor Wallins, do you have any comments to make on this one? Sorry,
David.
Sorry, David.
You're on
we didn't hear
mute.
you. You're on mute,
no,
David.
I'm now unmuted.
Yeah.
I'm now unmuted. Yes, in principle, I'm not sure about exactly how much it should be, but the principle of something is yes, I think we should.
Okay. What about Councillor Donaldson?
Yeah, I agree with what Joanna was saying in that, you know, that the point of the grant scheme is small grants, small groups. And for this, which is a £56,000 project, it will be better dealt with Lottery Heritage.
Yes.
However, all lottery money has been kind of frozen for the time being because of the, you know, the coronavirus problem. So everything's going into the coronavirus. But it's something that, you know, I've been meeting to meet Christchurch to talk about their youth project for some time now. And maybe this is one of the things that we could actually discuss, but it's a heritage thing as opposed to a small community grant. So it's not within the criteria, really.
Okay.
So I think, unfortunately, we have to say no.
Okay. Councillor Matthew Scott?
Yeah, I'm basically agreeing with Councillor Donaldson. I mean, obviously, I understand the situation of what we have with the COVID pandemic. It has not fully stopped the ability to gain outside funding through whatever means. it certainly made it tougher. And I suppose for those who may not necessarily know how to go out and sort out, it's certainly a lot more difficult. But I mean, we are a small grant scheme, and to put one large amount into one specific area could, could be seen as contentious as well. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree on Donaldson on this one. But I trust Donaldson was mentioning that he will look into it further and essentially provide a report or an update. Am I trusting that?
Thank you very much indeed, Matthew. I have to admit as well, I think that we have a lot of other religious communities there. It's a lot of money to single out one of the groups. Everybody's having a lot of hardship times. I do think that Councillor Donaldson is right. It comes under more of a heritage to do it. And obviously the type of money they're asking for would almost wipe our scheme out. And, you know, at this time, I think our smaller groups are going to be, personally, will probably want to, you know, some support as well. So I do feel at the moment it's not the right time to do it. And maybe we could look at it again at the end of the year if we've got spare capacity and we haven't used up all the grant scheme by that time. I don't know how everybody feels about that. Are people in agreement to look at it later in the year?
Certainly in agreement, yeah.
Councillor Wallings, are you happy to look at it back later in the year rather than now?
Yes, I guess so. But I do agree they need the money. I don't propose that we should give them all of it, but they do need some money, and it is a major part of Westgate, and so we should try and support them to some degree. But
Well,
yeah, we can leave it a while and talk about it in 2 or 3 months.
Sorry, Town Clerk Jill, can we have your comments there, please?
Thank you. Yes, what I was going to suggest is maybe I could work with Councillor Donaldson and we could offer them some support in looking at some heritage funding avenues to give them some guidance maybe.
That sounds a really good plan in between time. And as I said, towards the end of the year, you know, if they need support and we haven't got it, then perhaps we could look at it. Councillor Cornford.
Yes, that sounds good. Thank you. Yes, it is an HLF thing.
Okay, everybody in agreement with that for the moment, just to put it on hold and we'll look at it again in the last year.
Agreed.
Yep. Thank you. Okie dokie. We come to item 9, which is the gas and electric contracts are due for renewal. I'll pass you over to the town clerk on this one as she works within the office. I see you've got some very nice bills here and costs down here. And if you'd like to talk us through them, it'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor O'Connor. Okay, so we have spent the first year in the office with British Gas as our supplier. Obviously, it's always prudent to look at alternatives when you get the renewal prices through. So we've looked at the dual fuel for gas and electric and done a comparison. You see a table there, you've got 4 quotes. All the 2 big ones, obviously British Gas and EDF. We also had a quote from Gazprom Energy, which is quite a new supplier. And obviously a green energy, because I know some councillors quite like the idea of us being more green, and that supplier is called Bulb. As you can see, it's broken down into the price per kilowatt for gas and the daily charge in pence, and also the electric price per kilowatt and daily charge in pence as well in the table. So when you do the comparisons on the table, EDF quotation is the cheapest option and Bulb is the green energy provider. And that is for an annual renewal, so we would be tied for a year's contract.
Okay, do we have any comments that people want to raise with this? Councillor Scott, as I can't see whether you're putting your hand up or anything. Any comments at all?
I mean, obviously, when it comes down to sort of like gas and electricity, the way I see it, the lights turn on, the lights turn on. If you can cook your food with gas, you can cook your food with gas. I mean, maybe I'm just being a little bit too naive. and it just is a main factor when it comes down to sort of the costs. I mean, Bob mentions green energy, but I mean, you know, without seeing all the information there, I mean, is it a case that they put a certain amount of funds towards green energy, or are they saying that our electric is specifically coming from wind turbines? I mean, I'm pretty sure that EDF, it was one of the electric providers who have actually helped our offshore wind farms for Kent. So, I mean, already EDF, why not specifically saying in this particular piece of documentation, are producing and providing green energy, and it also happens to be the lower rate. So, I mean, that's my comment. It's just while Bulb is saying green energy, to what extent? Because obviously we're looking here at a larger cost in terms of the overall in gas and electric.
Okay.
Sorry.
Councillor Cornford, you had some comments?
Well, the town clerk, I feel the town clerk should make the decision. We've seen the paperwork and nobody seems to have any comments about costs. So it's whatever the town clerk, I mean, Jill is in the office, she's using the power. And I think it would be really down to her.
Anybody else got any comments to bring forward? Sorry, Councillor Donaldson.
Yeah, I agree with Joanne. Maybe it's something that we should just delegate to the town clerk. And, you know, as Matt said, it's, you know, you've got to have gas and electricity. So I think it's just something we delegate to Jill.
Yeah. Councillor Mullins, have you got any further comments? Councillor Mullins, have you got any further comments? Sorry, I can't hear you.
No.
Okay. I mean, I happen to agreement of
No,
that.
I've unmuted now. I was muted.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
No, I'm in agreement that we should leave it all down to the town clerk.
Thank you.
She can make the decision.
Thank you. Well, I think that's unanimous that we would leave it to you, Jill. You've obviously spoken to the customer services side and everything else. So whichever you feel is going to give you the best service with the best value for money included in that, because obviously doesn't necessarily mean cheapest prices, you get the best value, best service. So it's all a whole package. So we'll leave that up to you. You're the ones that have made it to do. So if you could just let us know which one you decide on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. That was all in agreement. So do you want a formal vote on that one? I think we better put our hands up to say we formally leave that to that. And Councillor Scott?
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you. Okay. We've briefly discussed the Westgate Day prepaid stalls. As we've said, most people were very happy to just take it forward. As we said in our year-end report, we moved on the money and earmarked it, so anybody who does want it, they had it earmarked, so it is able to be paid back and not be paid back this year. So we don't take anything from our funding this year, so it is an earmarked reserve. So anybody that has going to be paid back, we will move it out of earmarked reserves for that. So, and also on the same subject, we've got anything in earmarked reserves that we have got for our Westgate in Bloom, that will be paid for, and earmarked reserves will be used to pay for it, so it will be transferred over. Okay, I believe Jill's got a few things in the pipeline that will be just paid for out of that, won't you, this year?
Yes, so just to update members, we've had one request so far for a refund for the Westgate Day stalls, and we've had 6 that say they want to carry over and book again for next year.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed for that. Lovely. Okay, and last but not least, this is just to ratify. Basically, we discussed at our email meeting about the fact that the salary increase for the town clerk was due to go up her incremental report in January. We all agreed by email, but apparently we have to actually agree by voting. So we just need to ratify it. So I just need everybody to agree that Jill's incremental salary increase, which is the natural one, if she passes all her appraisals right and there's nothing to hold her back on the appraisal, she naturally goes up an incremental point until she reaches top of scale. So this is just a normal one. So I'd like to propose that we just ratify that. So anybody else? Yeah. And Matt, can I ask you to verbally? Thank you. That's been passed. That's been ratified. Okay.
And also, she's now got another task, which is to make a decision on electric. So she deserves every penny.
Sorry, well, I didn't hear that last bit.
She's got an additional task to a normal task, which is to make a decision on who provides the gas and electric.
That's very true.
So she deserves every penny of a pay rise, and she's also worked very, very hard.
She has indeed, and we wouldn't be in this position, and these meetings wouldn't be run if it wasn't for her. So thank you very much, Jill. And I believe that's the end of the meeting. The next meeting is the 21st of July for the Finance and General Purpose, but obviously we'll be seeing everybody at our extraordinary meeting next week, I believe, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So good night, everybody. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Take care. Stay safe.
Good night.
thank you, Matt. Thank you. Good night. Good night, David.
Bye.
Good night.